Coming up on the NTV Evening News Hour. Residents of Norris Point and Rocky Harbor have been without power for more than 30 hours. Widespread cancellations continue at the airport in Wabush. And police are investigating after several vehicles allegedly performed stunts outside the Danny Cleary Harbor Grace Community Center.
And nighttime rain for some becomes a morning time rain for others. We'll track it from the northern peninsula to the south coast of Labrador, and then that light rain just sprinkled around the island tomorrow with some sunny breaks. Full details coming up.
The award-winning NTV Evening News Hour with Tony Marie Wiseman, Michael Connors, and your weather forecast with Ryan Harding.
Good evening. The RNC has charged a 17-year-old St. John's male with multiple sexual offenses after allegedly using artificial intelligence to create and share explicit images of teenage girls.
Police say they received several reports on January the 11th from youth who had been exploited through digitally altered images. The RNC's Child Abuse and Sexual Assault Unit investigated and determined the images had been created and shared on social media. Search warrants were executed and police traced the images to a 17-year-old male from the Goulds. The youth, whose identity is protected under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, faces 19 counts each of making, possessing and distributing child sexual abuse and exploitation material, along with 1 count of accessing that material.
Residents of Norris Point and Rocky Harbor have been without power for more than 30 hours after an unplanned outage was caused by a bird striking a transformer early Monday morning. As NTV's Beth Penny tells us, those residents are feeling a sense of deja vu.
In the peak of tourism season, more than 1,200 customers in Rocky Harbor and Norris Point on the province's west coast have been without power since 7 a.m. on Monday morning.
Yeah, we have guests that are checking out because they have CPAP machines that need to be plugged in. Guests that are checking out hoping to get accommodation in other towns because their food that they bought for their holiday is spoiling in the fridges and freezers.
Jen Shears is a business owner in Rocky Harbor and says it's been a concerning situation for the hundreds of tourists in the region right now, with most restaurants closed and little cell service as is. According to Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro, the unplanned outage was caused by a bird strike. Shears says it's an issue that's happened before and deserves a more permanent solution.
It's beyond frustrating, especially in a town where a power outage of this length becomes really critical due to the nature of how many people are in town that aren't from here. So, I mean, Rocky Harbor is a town of 900 people, but I would venture to guess on any given night in the summer there are 3,000 people here.
Mayor of Norris Point, Sherilyn Rumbold, says she's been working hard to keep spirits up. The local town hall is open to provide power to anyone in need, but Rumbold says she understands the frustration that residents are currently feeling.
The town is really focused on keeping services running, trying to keep morale up, just encouraging socialization. We have our community hall open. People are welcome to come use the kitchen facilities. We're hoping that this is an eye-opener and that the things that they need to have in place to fix issues like this need to be closer. I think a lot of the prolonged, the time period, a lot of it is due to distance of equipment and just trying to get it to the West Coast. And we feel like that's something that Hydro should already have in place at a, closer to us.
According to Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro, the latest time for restoration is midnight tonight. It will mean about 40 hours without power for residents and tourists in Rocky Harbor and Norris Point. Beth Penny, NTV News.
Widespread cancellations continue at the airport in Wabush today. That's after flights were grounded on Monday due to a lack of available firefighting equipment on the site. NTV's Mary Kate O'Neill spoke with affected residents today who say frustration is mounting in Labrador West.
If you were trying to get in or out of YWK today, chances are you couldn't. Many people had to make alternative travel plans today and Monday as flights were canceled across the board. According to PAL Airlines, flights to and from Wabush Airport were not operating on Monday because there was not enough required firefighting equipment.
Financially and otherwise, it's just not cutting it.
Belinda Adams, who was supposed to be flying from Wabush to Quebec today, was notified her flight was canceled via email last night and hasn't heard anything since. As the former mayor of Labrador City, Adams says it's not about missing her travel plans. It's about a continuing issue that never seems to get resolved.
Everybody talks about, shoot, I'm missing my hockey game. Shoot, I missed my medical appointment. How about, shoot, we're down for maintenance again? How reliable are these planes? How reliable is our firefighting equipment? That concerns me more than anything. And I'm not a nervous person. I'm not a worrier. That worries me.
Firefighting services at Wabush Airport were pulled by the federal government in 2020 and reinstated in 2025. But since then, issues with service keep popping up between both PAL Airlines and the airport itself. And Adams says it's time for all levels of government to engage with Labrador West on a solution.
This is the kind of stuff that's life-changing, life-altering when it comes to finances, life-altering, and not good enough. And there needs to be a call out to, and I have my letter done up to send to our MP and our MHA after this, is there needs to be a call out to both levels of government to pull together to table with the municipalities in Labrador City and Wabush, Labrador West, and see where we go from here and what's required to ensure that we have. But we met with PAL as a group. It's called the Concerned Citizens of PAL, and mayors and MHAs and MPs met, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But what really happens? Where's the action list?
There has been no official word from Wabush Airport on when services will return to normal operations. Many impacted residents have been outspoken, saying they haven't been rebooked. NTV News has heard from sources that it could take a few days before the proper firefighting equipment arrives in Wabush.
Who looked at the equipment? Is it fit for use? You know, have we got the right numbers? Is it fit for use? Who does the inspection? Who does all that? Maybe they did that. Doesn't seem like it to me from what I'm hearing.
Mary Kate O'Neill, NTV News.
Police in Harbour Grace are investigating after several vehicles allegedly performed stunts outside the Danny Cleary Harbour Grace Community Centre Sunday night. RCMP responded shortly before 10 p.m. on August 9th. Police believe some of the drivers had attended a car show in Carbonear earlier that day. The stunting caused substantial damage to the parking lot's asphalt and painted surface. Anyone with information, surveillance footage, or details about the vehicles or drivers is asked to contact Harbour Grace RCMP or Crime Stoppers.
The province says they need more details before Everett's proposal for a major wind energy project in the Exploits Valley will get the environmental green light. And that includes more information on what they gathered during public consultations. NTV's Colleen Lewis with more.
The provincial environment minister says the proponents of a major wind to hydrogen project in the Exploits Valley need to provide more information when it comes to the details of their environmental impact statement submitted in May. The department is asking Everett to provide more information on the environmental impacts of the project, which includes an ammonia production facility, a pipeline, a solar farm, and proposes up to 530 wind turbines in the central area. The department is asking to know more about the effects of the project on receptors in the Seabright Lake area and proposed mitigation lands. The department found the report to be deficient when it comes to the proposed power supply from the provincial grid, volumes of waste, as well as wastewater characterization. They're also looking for more information when it comes to the effects of the project on human health and quality of life. Government has requested baseline information on flora, fauna, and habitat, in particular species at risk and species of special concern. They've also found Everett's statement to be deficient when it comes to the location of project components, setbacks, and proximity to sensitive receptors. The proposal has met with mixed reactions from the public in Central, and the province wants more information on public consultations that have been held. Everett says they consulted with public stakeholders during the planning and held recurring meetings with municipalities, cabin owners, outfitting operators, and Alibu First Nation. They also stated there were 3 open houses where the proponent addressed the public's concerns. Once Everett has submitted the additional information, the amendments will be subject to a 50-day public review and comment period. For NTV News, I'm Colleen Lewis.
New and more graphic warning labels are front and center on cigarette packages in Canada. NTV's Kyle Brookings has more in this report.
This is what now faces smokers as they reach for their favorite pack of cigarettes. This is one of the new graphic tobacco warning labels that are rolling out across Canada. Kevin Cody, the executive director of the Newfoundland and Labrador Alliance for the Control of Tobacco, explains the labels are refreshed to ensure the message stays relevant to smokers.
They're actually a continuation of labels that started years ago, but the decision was made to refresh them on a regular basis because obviously we're trying to get the smokers' attention. So the hope is that particularly young people who might be experimenting will see the message before they experiment.
Cody adds the labels work in conjunction with other efforts.
They work in conjunction with other efforts. You know, none of these things work on their own. With the effort that was made to get smoking out of the public places, the bars and the bingo halls, to get the power walls down in the convenience stores where you walked in and saw the big wall of colorful packages, you know, messages into the school, education. It's just one piece of the puzzle.
Rob Cunningham is a senior policy analyst with the Canadian Cancer Society. He says the warnings are highly effective.
These warnings are highly effective. A picture says 1,000 words. They have been demonstrated in studies in Canada, internationally, to be effective. And that's why the tobacco industry, historically in Canada and still internationally, has opposed them. If they wouldn't work, the tobacco companies would not be so opposed.
The Canadian Cancer Society reports that tobacco use is the leading cause of preventable disease and death in Canada. In St. John's, Kyle Brookings, NTV News.
Well, weakness in the technology sector and continued global tensions send North American markets lower today. TSX up 18 points to 36,476. Meanwhile, Venture Exchange down 7 to 967. Dow Jones down 184 to 53,792. Meanwhile, NASDAQ down 160 to 26,445. Looking at gold now, that's down $21.06 to $4,369.89 an ounce U.S. Meanwhile, Brent crude oil is up $1.35 to $89.07 per barrel. That's Brent crude oil. The Canadian dollar is up 0.08, just a little bit, to 71.81 cents American. Meanwhile, Fortis shares are up 89 cents to $78.12. Labrador iron ore up 15 cents to $27.17, while Altius Minerals is up 83 cents to $63.17.
Tonight's weather brought to you by GMC's employee pricing for you. Get up to a $16,240 cash purchase credit today on a 2026 GMC Sierra Denali Ultimate.
Well, Tony, Marie, and Ryan, it felt like one of those completely average days. At times it was good, at times it was bad, but mostly it was neither.
It was just, I'd say pleasant, though. It wasn't a horrible day. I mean, it was cold on Saturday. I went to the Blueberry Festival in Brigus on Sunday, actually, and it was bitterly cold on that field. Yeah.
Doesn't really feel like summer yet,
no,
right now anyways.
No.
I know, it's one of those places where you can get a week of good weather and say, some summer, and a week of tough weather and say, where's the summer been? June wasn't bad. We had some lovely days in there. If you joined us last night, I said today was going to be nothing to get overly excited about, but nothing to really look out for either. And there's a lot of that, but some extra rain in some places as well. It's not in St. John's right now, and right at the tail end, we clipped that 20-degree mark as a daytime high that we talked about last night. And that is, again, thanks to that south wind, albeit relatively light, 15 gusting to 25. So as we take a quick peek and see where it says mostly cloudy, well, that's going to be only cloudy on the Avalon here as the evening goes on. We are tracking a little bit of light rain through parts of central up into the Exploits region as well. Pilley's Island likely to see a light rain rain at that 9 p.m. hour. We take a quick peek, and you can just see the clouds are kind of strong in some places, weak in others. We get a great photo of just that in just a moment, but also what we can see is dampness in them. And so we have that on again, off again, drizzle, light rain opportunity. Where there's cloud, there's chance for some light rain tomorrow. And I mean, it's darn near impossible to pinpoint exactly where and when, but you're likely again to have another day where we see a little bit of rain right next door to a little bit of sun. And that's just the way things are going here until we get to Thursday, where things really break open a little bit pretty well for everybody. So as we push through Wednesday morning, we're going to see a real opportunity for a little extended period of some sun in some places. And we'll show Central specifically in just a moment. Solar eclipse. Partial is something we're going to talk about the next time we get together. It's in that 2 to 4 p.m. window, really. And, gee, I tell you, we're going to get all three, cloud, sun, and rain. 3 o'clock, Trepassey getting 2 to 4 millimeters, working its way up the eastern side, for the most part, of the Avalon, a little bit less in St. John's. And again, the sentiment is cloudy, then not. Rainy, then not. So if you're not enjoying the weather that's out there tomorrow, pop back in, wait a couple minutes, the old adage, right? And then on we go to the next one. Here's that picture out of Terranceville. Lisa showing us exactly what we're talking about. Look how heavy and dark those clouds are in some places. Definitely filled with rain, only to open up right next door and have that gorgeous sun shining right down through. I'll tell you, this is the exact same day on the exact same region down in Buren. Absolutely gorgeous. Marcia showing us this. It was squid on the line yesterday. It's fish on there today. So once they open, yeah, it's beautiful, but it's not long lasting. It was, though, in Lumsden. There's a new trend online, Geo Tracker, where people show you a photo. You have to guess where in the world it is. If you sent this to me, my first guess might be Myrtle Beach. And my first guess would have been wrong. No better than Lumsden Beach on a nice day. Hey, Lisa. We'll move over to the Port-au-Port Peninsula. Speaking of beaches, where if you head over here, you pass the bar, you go beyond Long Point, and just before you hit Long Tip, there's a beach there, Blue Beach. And that's where Jason found not just the beach, but some Neapolitan moose. 2 white and 1 brown. Absolutely lovely. Jason, thank you for that, and a lovely blue sky in the backdrop as well. Not quite blue on the west coast here at this hour. In fact, very shortly, we're seeing that rain pass through. It's going to push past into parts of Central. That's where we picked up on the eastern side. It's really the secondary rain, and the more consistent, longer lasting comes in the evening and through the overnight. 5 to 10 millimeters is what we're talking from Port aux Basques up into Corner Brook. Once we bypass Corner Brook, we're in the 15 to 20 millimeter range, and the higher end of that is likely going to be on the western side of the northern peninsula, but taking until tomorrow morning to really take effect in that very top portion of it, in Flowers Cove specifically. From there, it pushes up into the south coast of Labrador, which we'll get into in a moment. But I pause here to again show, yeah, there's some breaks in those clouds. There's some dampness in them as well, but there's sun to be had. Now, what we're seeing here through Central at 4 p.m. is a rainfall short, but look on either side, sun. So that, again, just furthering the point of fussy old day. Can't make its mind up. In terms of the wind, not quite as fussy. 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. We'll find the high end of that on the west coast, and it's coming a little bit off the water there, so that's going to limit the daytime highs to the high teens, while further inland in Newfoundland and parts of the Avalon, we are pushing once again for that 20-degree mark. Very similar up into Labrador. It's a south wind fueling that rain up, but it's a north wind coming down on the north coast, so limited temperatures there, and further inland and Cartwright, we're going to get towards that 20-degree mark. What the wind's doing on the island? Well, fog, of course, and the south-facing side is going to see lots of that, but we do see it shift as that sun came out. Remember when we were looking at the radar, there was that big pocket of sun in the middle of the afternoon? Well, that burns the fog off. Less sun on the eastern side, more fog on that south-facing side, thanks to that south wind. And we take a quick peek up into Red Bay. No rain here, not yet. Anyway, Dana sending in that absolute stunner of that ship off the coastline as well. It's pretty clear tonight until it's not, right? Into tomorrow morning. It's 20 to 30 millimeters from Red Bay into Cartwright from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Red Bay specifically, and then it's battling up against some north wind, so that's going to allow that to stall and really just come into that area throughout the late afternoon into the evening, while we're seeing light rain in Labrador West there. Ben, Tony Marie.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. The RCMP is thanking Stephenville Ground Search and Rescue for their help in safely locating 2 off-road vehicle riders on Saturday lost on a backcountry trail. By providing police with their coordinates and description of the area, Ground Search and Rescue were able to locate the pair, who were in good health.
Kids Help Phone has seen an almost 25% increase in the numbers of children reaching out for mental health support. Now, to help meet demand, the foundation has launched a new fundraiser to help hire overnight staff with a focus in British Columbia and here in Atlantic Canada. NTV's Andrew Connors has more.
The Kids Help Phone Foundation has offered youth across Canada free 24/7 online mental health services. Now, they're calling an urgent fundraising appeal after claiming a 24% increase in overnight calls.
Yeah, so overnight is always our busy period, whether it's by phone or by text message. It's when young people are often reaching out to us the most. In fact, there's 183% more volume at night than there is during the day, for example. One of our amazing donors, the J&W Murphy Foundation out of Atlantic Canada, has agreed to match all contributions that Canadians make to Kids Help Phone up until September 11th and up to $250,000. And that's going to be important for us to be able to keep the pace. We weren't expecting to have such high volume, which means we needed to deploy more people and technology to be able to meet that demand. And so we're looking for Canada to help us out, help us in this moment so that we can continue to reach the young people that are contacting us in the middle of the night.
Aaron Sanderson, the CEO of Kids Help Phone, says some of the potential funding would be used to hire additional overnight staff, specifically in British Columbia and Atlantic Canada, which comes after the report claims a 12% increase in overnight calls right here in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Canada is a very beautiful big country, and so with multiple time zones, which means that if you're based in Newfoundland as one of our staff or crisis responders, you can help service the rest of Canada as they move into those evening hours.
Sanderson says the fundraiser is particularly important right now because it is almost back to school season, an often stressful time for youth.
So back to school season is approaching, and that is always a more significant service volume for Kids Help Phone every single year. In fact, last year we experienced a 10% increase to the numbers that we had during the summer. The issue is for us that we are already 24% higher than what we expected. Schedules are changing, new relationships, new circumstances. We expect that young people may yet also need more from us.
Sanderson says Kids Helpline may be one of the only places for youth to reach out to overnight. He says, while the surge is harrowing, the fact that young people are speaking out about their mental health problems is encouraging. For NTV News, I'm Andrew Connors.
The federal government has awarded a $121 million contract to build a new CRA facility on Kelsey Drive in St. John's. The contract has been awarded to Palmer Lowe Incorporated, with construction set to begin this summer. The federal government says the facility will provide modern, accessible, purpose-built space for CRA employees and support the agency's work in Newfoundland and Labrador. Construction is expected to take several years, with the new facility scheduled for completion in 2029.
In 2023, Renova Capital emerged as the new owner and operator of the previously court-protected Canadian Fluorspar mine. The company has high hopes, estimating that at capacity, about 600 jobs will be created. With that story, here's NTV's Ross Tilley.
Renova Capital of Denmark took ownership of CFI Mining St. Lawrence back in 2023. Since then, the company has been working diligently to make CFI a world-class operation in the commercial fluorspar industry.
Yeah, since we took over the mine site, we've been looking at optimizing the mining operations, optimizing the production, adding the aggregate product as one of our products in the market, repairing the port. As you see behind me, we've repaired and made the Blue Beach Marine Terminal operational, and the plans are to continue doing this for the next 30, 40, 50 years. Our owners want to make us a world-class fluorspar operation in Canada. They got dreams for this place, and they want to take over 50% of global market for fluorspar.
One of the essential requirements in making CFI a world-class operation, says Mr. Azanchi, is having its own Blue Beach Marine Terminal.
That's a huge economical impact on our bottom line, right? Having the port so close to our operations where we actually produce the product being able to just truck down 5 kilometers to the port and have full control of it, that adds huge benefits to our operations. And that was one of the biggest advantages that we have with this port being so close to our mining operations. It changed the game big time. But now with this port, our prices are pretty reasonable and makes us very competitive in the market. Past week, this is the second boat behind me that's being loaded. And this is an aggregate ship. The one before that was Fluorspar ship that we shipped out 4,500 tons of acid-grade Fluorspar, acid spar. This boat is going to be 44,000 tons of aggregate. And early to mid-June, we had 2 more boats also that went out, one for aggregate and one for Fluorspar.
CFI is the only Fluorspar mine in Canada, with an estimated lifespan of 30 years plus. But Mr. Ozanchi says, should time come when there is no more Fluorspar, there can still be a future for the mine.
We got the acid-grade Fluorspar, so acid spar they call it, and also aggregate products. We are about 30 years mine life right now. That's life of mine. But we know that with the further exploration that we are planning to do in the next few years, we're going to extend that. We're going to go beyond 30 years, more likely 50 to 100 years. That's not unrealistic. If even say we run out of Fluorspar, there's enough rhyolite, which is the sister rock to granite, in this property that this mining for aggregate could carry on for 100 years. Our mine is the only Fluorspar mine in Canada. And this is the only mine that produces acid-grade Fluorspar in Canada. So it's a huge deal for us.
For NTV News, Russ Tilley, St. Lawrence.
On August 8th, Lloyd Woodrow George Rideout turned 90, and his birthday has become quite a celebration.
Yay! 90! There he is.
You see, Lloyd has made an annual tradition of diving off his boat at high tide from the Hideout Resort in Cottlesville. This year, the stunt attracted a large crowd, and the video is getting attention all over the world. More than 100,000 people have viewed his dive on social media. Lloyd does a birthday swim, we're told, every single year.
Coming up, Amanda Muse will tell us what's happening in your community.
We're at the Johnson Geocenter to talk about an out-of-this-world event taking place here tomorrow.
Ryan Harding will be back with your detailed weather forecast. And when we return, residents in Rocky Harbor and Norris Point say they would like to see a more timely solution put in place when it comes to wildlife causing power outages. That's in the Inside Story. Welcome back to the NTV Evening News Hour. Tonight on the Inside Story, residents in Rocky Harbor and Norris Point say they would like to see a more timely solution put in place when it comes to wildlife causing power outages in the region. It comes as the towns are heading into almost 40 hours without power.
At 7:15, 7:30 yesterday morning, everything went off and everything started beeping, and all the notifications on my apps about all the routers around the properties shutting down came into my phone. And in Rocky Harbor for the past couple of years, every time the power goes out, which is a lot, the first thought that I have and that many residents have is, I hope it's not the birds. Because if it's the birds, we know that we're in for at least over a day of a power outage. So this is like a known issue. Everyone in town knows it. The hydro workers know it. The powers that be at hydro know it. And yeah, once the power was off for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, then I kind of knew, yeah, it's the birds. So we need to figure out a plan for the next few days, because that's how it goes. So yeah, we have guests, you know, the phones start ringing. My power's gone. Is it just my unit, or is it all in town? And so, yeah, we had to communicate all that it was everywhere in town and in Norris Point as well.
It's not a common occurrence, but I don't want to call it a rarity either. So unplanned power outages do occur, and they have been, you know, instigated by wildlife. I think they refer to it as. So bird strike this is not the first one. We just feel like there should be some mitigation put into place to prevent something that seems so simple. We're hoping that this is an eye-opener and that the things that they need to have in place to fix issues like this need to be closer. I think a lot of the prolonged, the time period, a lot of it is due to distance of equipment and just trying to get it to the West Coast. And we feel like that's something that Hydro should already have in place at a, closer to us.
Reinforcements have arrived in the battle against a deadly wildfire that has forced some 20,000 people out of their homes along the western shores of the Okanagan Lake in British Columbia. CTV's Andrew Johnson reports.
When Joel Patton and his family escaped their home near Summerland, flames that had traveled kilometers in just minutes were already at his back door.
My 5-year-old Chloe, she was tears. She had like 3 bags on. I'm saying, hey, honey, Dad's not scared. You're not scared. So we calmly got them out.
But it wasn't until he saw this photo the next morning the worst was confirmed. His home is gone.
We've lost everything in the fire.
4 days later, Patton's safe in Penticton, working to collect donations for his community. The entire district of Summerland and part of Peachland to the north remain evacuated. The fire grew overnight. It's now more than 178 square kilometers. That's double the size of the town. Reduced smoke in the area actually hurt the firefight, allowing more oxygen and heat to get through.
Even last night, without much wind, we were seeing very challenging conditions and quite significant growth in some areas of that wildfire.
As the evacuation drags on, more impacts to the community become clear. Jesse Ritchie's waterfront restaurant is one of many forced to throw out spoiled food.
It's not food safe and it's not legal to serve.
They were able to get into the restaurant to salvage what they could for 1 hour yesterday. Tens of thousands of dollars in meat, seafood, and vegetables had to be tossed out.
Like our staff were in tears. Just the fact that this product is now being wasted and not being consumed and utilized, and we're not able to donate it or do anything with it. That's one of the worst experiences I've faced in 20 years in this industry.
He's worried for the entire town that relies on summer tourism to get through the lean winter.
Unless the government is able to step in and subsidize these small businesses, there's people that aren't going to be able to survive.
An uphill climb for a community whose mayor says, whatever happens, no one will go it alone.
We need to just pull together as the community we are and get through this, and we will. And we'll get through this and we'll be stronger.
Summerland Mayor Doug Holmes also acknowledged no one's going home anytime soon. He said plans are well underway for a staggered return. But until crews can get that fire under control, some 20,000 people will be forced to wait. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Penticton, BC.
Tonight's weather is brought to you in part by your Atlantic Ford store. Certified expertise, verified for your Ford. Keep your Ford a Ford.
How we doing? We're going to hear a little bit more about this when Amanda Muse comes up and talk about how it pertains to part of one community anyway, but in your community. But the solar eclipse, yeah, it's back, 2026 edition. Of course, that is when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, and you can see just a percentage of how much of that sun is going to be covered based on whereabouts people may reside. You can see not a whole lot in Toronto, but a little more the further east you go. So in our province, the top coverage is going to be 55%. That's going to be in Cartwright, but Cartwright, nothing but rain for you. At that point, unfortunately, not going to be able to see it at all. And we can see that just kind of go down the scale. The color orange, I have that in place. You take a look at the visibility quality, green for good, yellow for fair, red for poor. Well, what does red and yellow mix get? Orange. So we're going to be somewhere in between at some point. There's not much more to it than that. Now, I guess a little bit more I can tell you about it. At 2:30, thereabouts, in our province, Newfoundland Standard Time, is when the moon is going to make its first touches on that sun. Right about 4:35 is when it's going to be out the other side. So there is a 2-hour window in there. The total eclipse is going to be a little bit further over. So you can see parts of Greenland, Reykjavik, Iceland likely going to get that path of totality, and all the way down into parts of Spain. And Palma, there, the old resort city, Going to be right in the thick of things there. So, and I think Amanda has a little bit more on how we can see some of that. But if we take a look at that 2 p.m. time for Newfoundland and Labrador, I mean, there's some open sky out there, but that's going to shift as we go as well. And you can see over the Avalon, that's when we're anticipating some of that rain. So we'll take a quick peek just at those timelines. We'll start with Labrador. And unless you're in Churchill Falls, there's not much of a chance there, to be fair. But take an opportunity to show that north wind as well, and finalizing that rain, which is bringing anywhere from 15, 25, maybe even 30 millimeters on the high end. We push to 3, still looking good in Churchill Falls. And then by the end of it, the cloud comes in. So it comes and goes there. Over to the western side of the island, looks like there's some clarity, potentially Corner Brook through to Deer Lake. And what we're going to see on the southwest coast is things actually open up nicely. So right in the middle there should get a good view, even though it is on the lower percentage down in Port aux Basques. And that's when we're seeing that rain start to form by the end of it in Grand Falls, Windsor. So again, comes and goes. Take a look at where your community is, and you can see at that 4 p.m. mark, as we're hitting the tail end of that partial solar eclipse, how things are looking in your community. Over to the eastern side again, right? So Bay Roberts actually looks pretty good. St. John's, that cloud comes and goes halfway through, and that's when we start to see that rain move up from the southern portion of the Avalon to the north, all the while pretty cloudy on the Burin Peninsula. But we are seeing some openness in Clarenville. Nah, maybe not, but Bonavista Vista Peninsula, yeah, chances there. Kittiway Coast through to Gander as well. So there are some opportunities out there, and there's going to be some opportunities in the 5-day forecast. But again, once we get past that beautiful Thursday, we're kind of right back into that come and go. Very similar to what we've had at the early portion of the week. Speaking of come and go, those 20s go on Sunday with sun and cloud at 17 degrees. Over to the south coast, much the same. Thursday, we're going to pencil in for the day to get out and do some gardening, hey, or whatever it is you might find yourself up to. 20 degrees sun and cloud. We'll lose that 20 on Friday and we'll gain the rain back. But a sun and cloud Saturday and Sunday. So it all evens out into the weekend, 22 and 19 degrees. Up into Central, well, yeah, the chance of some thunder showers are there. It's low, but it's there. It's more so the rain, right? And you can see that sun and cloud come and go on Thursday. So that tells me with that flash on the Wednesday and the Friday, the bulk of Thursday, based on even just the other icons in the 5-day forecast being sun and cloud, that's likely going to be a Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, and then a late Thursday night overnight into Friday, where the bulk of Thursday looks pretty good at 25 degrees. The rain returns on Saturday, and then we open back up on Sunday at 21 degrees. Over to the west coast, a 5-day forecast looks a little like this. Not too different, but it looks like Thursday again the day this week at 23 degrees sun and cloud. Conditions deteriorate ever so on Friday at 19. The chance of some thunder showers leading into the Saturday, and then hopefully at the end there it opens up early enough for a sunset, which leads into a Sunday at 22 degrees sun and cloud. To the northern peninsula, it's been a trend, isn't it, where we get out of those 20 degree marks, and 16 seems to be the average, just 117 on the board. Extra cloud on that Thursday. So we'll take everything we just talked about, toss it out, and apply some extra cloud, which lasts into the Friday. But just like the West Coast, hopefully that Saturday clears up in time for a beautiful evening and then leads into that 16 sun and cloud on Sunday. So all that rain on the South Coast tomorrow we talked about. Again, Cartwright specifically is forecasted in the 20 to 25 millimeter range. Red Bay could hit the high end of 30 millimeters, and it's because of that north wind coming through, and it's not allowing that system to move just as freely as it would like. Stalling is what we call that, and stalling is what we call this as we take this 5-day through a little slowly here this evening. The rain returns on the Friday after that beauty, but chillier, 14 degree Thursday sun and cloud. We gain a few Saturday and Sunday at 18 and 19. Up into the north coast, we see some extra cloud Wednesday and Thursday. There is some light rain in it tomorrow, but it is just that light, and of course that cloud blocking that partial eclipse into Thursday at just 12 degrees as well. Sun comes out Friday, holds through to Sunday. We'll take that 16 and 17 degrees. Single digits in the evening, though. I might remind you, Happy Valley Goose Bay, mostly cloud tomorrow with the odd light shower in there. We'll apply that to Thursday as well into Friday before things open up and we get back into the 20s, sun and cloud. We'll finish off in the always beautiful Labrador West, and it's a late afternoon light rain with the chance of some thunder showers, which lead into some light showers Thursday morning, and then it's off to the races. Sun and cloud and an even 18 degrees throughout right to Sunday.
Thanks so much, Ryan. We're going to take a break now, the NTV Evening News Hour, but do stay with us. When we come back on this week's On the Mark, 2 Newfoundlanders win gold at the World Under-18 Hockey Championship. Mark Dwyer will tell us all about it.
Welcome back. Canada showed its dominance at the World Under-18 Hockey Championship in Edmonton, crushing the United States 8-1 in the final. Ben Vitch of St. John's had a breakout international tournament, while Quinn Norman also donned the Canadian Maple Leaf. Here's NTV's Mark Dwyer.
World champions. Two Newfoundland hockey players are coming home with gold after Canada dominated the United States 8-1 in the final of the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. And for Ben Vitch and Quinn Norman, it's a championship they'll never forget. For 16-year-old Ben Vitch of St. John's, the tournament was a breakout performance on the international stage.
Back for Vitch. Long wrist shot, scores! Benjamin Vitch from distance ties the game at 2.
Ben Vitch was a powerhouse throughout the tournament, finding the back of the net 4 times for Canada. And he added another goal in the gold medal game, helping Canada put the championship out of reach.
Now Cullen's back with it, and Weiss extends in the end. And DuPont knocks it down. Feeds across the Vitch with a shot, scores! Landon DuPont saves it at the line, and Vitch fires it home, make it 4-1.
It's an honor. It's a true achievement in life, just being able to wear the Hockey Canada logo and play for your country, and I'm really proud of myself and all my teammates here.
Now they might have a chance. Ben Vitch, he's in. Vitch scores!
Ben Vitch and Quinn Norman are both star players for the Newfoundland Regiment of the Quebec Maritimes Junior Hockey League, helping the club make a deep playoff run in its inaugural season. Now they're returning to the regiment this season, bringing home international experience, confidence, and of course, a gold medal.
That's the best feeling in the world, right? Winning, and all I want to do is do it again and keep doing it and doing it, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Throws it rink wide for Vitch. Benjamin Vitch. Plays it back in the corner for Strader. A quick shot, score! It's Vitch on the feed from Strader.
For Canada, the victory marks the country's 26th gold medal at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, further cementing its dominance as one of the world's premier under-18 international tournaments. Mark Dwyer, NTV Sports.
It's eyes to the skies in your community as Amanda Muse tells us how you can celebrate an astrological event in St. John's tomorrow.
Whoa, it's like, it wants to go to my hand.
Hey look, some of it's coming into the metal and coming into the cube.
Here.
We are here at the Johnson Geo Center where tomorrow from 12 to 5 you can drop by for the sunblock party. Why, you ask? Well, there's a partial solar eclipse happening and you might be able to catch a glimpse of it right here in St. John's. Joining us to talk about that, we have Andrea Van Nostrand. Now, Andrea, this is pretty exciting. It's not your first sunblock party here at the Johnson Geo Center. So what can we expect tomorrow?
Right, so tomorrow afternoon, it falls right in the middle of the afternoon, so it's, you don't have to get up super early. We're going to have the Royal Astronomical Society here, and they're going to have all their telescopes and tools to see the sun, and we're also going to have some of our own. We're going to have some high-tech telescopes, but we're also going to have some very low-end things that kids can make and then use to view the sun safely.
Because you're actually going to be giving out some glasses with admission, I hear.
We are giving out some glasses tomorrow, a limited supply, and for those who do not get them, we will have other ways that you can view the sun.
That's pretty exciting. And I know you've got some special guests that are going to be here as well.
We do. Other than the Royal Astronomical Society, I'm really excited. This is the first year that we're going to be dealing with STEM for girls, which is really exciting for us.
And I know here we're supposed to see it pretty good. One of the best places in Canada, I believe.
It is. We're getting about 53% of the sun's going to be covered. So not totality, but the next best thing.
And it is going to be in totality in some other places in the world. And we'll get a chance to see that as well?
That's right. We're going to be streaming from other parts of the world. So it will be totality over Greenland, Iceland, and Spain.
Thank you so very much. And now again, the times for people who want to drop by. When can people start dropping by for the sunblock party?
We are open all day tomorrow from 9:30 to 5, but activities will start around 12 o'clock until 5.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
Thank you.
Well, that's what's happening here in your community at the Johnson Geo Centre in St. John's. That's 12 to 5 tomorrow. And according to our own Ryan Harding, we'll see some cloud tomorrow with some rain with that cloud, but there should be some breaks in that cloud. So fingers crossed that we'll be able to get a good sight of that partial solar eclipse. In St. John's, I'm Amanda Muse.
Adam Driver and Miles Teller team up for a new film, and John Hamm faces major drama in his latest series. Here is CNN's Rick Damigella with today's Hollywood Minute.
It's New York. Everyone's on the take all the time.
Adam Driver and Miles Teller take on the mob. The pair play brothers in Paper Tiger and find themselves entangled with the Russian mafia in 1980s New York. Scarlett Johansson also stars in the drama, which arrives November 13th. Sharon Stone has been selected for the Creative Coalition's Humanitarian Awards. The event celebrates entertainers who have made an impact through leadership, community, and important causes. The actress was chosen for her work as Global Campaign Chair of AMFAR. John Stamos will also be honored for serving as a Child Help Ambassador. The event takes place September 10th in Los Angeles.
I'm the lead reporter on this story.
Fred, you are the story.
John Hamm hits the airwaves in American Hostage. The actor portrays a radio reporter who gets pulled into a hostage situation when the perpetrator demands to be interviewed live. The anthology thriller series premieres September 20th on MGM+. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
It's time for our final break here on the NTV Evening News Hour, but stay tuned. Ryan Harding will be back with a weather recap as we look outside at Corner Brook right now. I'm told it's 22 degrees. That's nice for the athletes there for the Newfoundland and Labrador Summer Games. And hey, when we return, Jim Furlong will be here to tell us what happened today in history.
Welcome back to the NTV Evening News Hour. Here now is Dr. Jim Furlong with tonight's Today in History.
August the 12th, one of our dates, our date with destiny. The Atlantic Charter was signed on this date in 1941 and was signed by Winston Churchill from Great Britain and Franklin Delano Roosevelt from the United States. We know it was signed here in Newfoundland, so to speak, well in the waters of Placentia Bay. It was a secret rendezvous between American and British vessels. On the table for discussion, the issues, well, support for Russia, threatening Japan to post-war peace after the fighting stopped. Did Churchill actually come ashore? That was the good question in Argentia. The answer is generally yes, he did. He took a boat into shore, went on a short excursion, walked around, and picked some flowers. The Atlantic Charter, 1941, Placentia Bay. You know, was this date in history? This is Jim Furlong reporting.
Birthdays and anniversaries brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation. We are the foundation that takes action so we all can take care of each other.
We are going to begin this evening with this beautiful photo of Judy and Philip Pye, who are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. They live in St. Louis, Labrador. Congratulations. Happy 53rd wedding anniversary going out to Pat and Roy Hines. James Hickey, originally from Southern Harbor, now living at Winslow Ridge in St. John's, celebrating a 91st birthday. Happy 65th wedding anniversary going out to Garfield and Verley Reed. Nellie Green, residing at the Marystown Retirement Home, is celebrating a 90th birthday. Happy 93rd birthday to Sophie Clark, living in St. John's. Congratulations to you. Happy 59th wedding anniversary going out to Marjorie and Edgar Rogers. Ross and Yvonne Thompson celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary. Happy 54th anniversary to Hubert and Shirley Kiley. Stella Randall from Little Bay East, now living at the Applewood Retirement Residence in Peterborough, Ontario, is celebrating a 94th birthday. And finally this evening, happy 64th wedding anniversary going out to Ben and Catherine Farrell of Harbour Grace, currently living in Gander.
Well, we take a quick peek at how things are going in the Newfoundland and Labrador Summer Games in Corner Brook. Here's an updated medal total. St. John's North leading the way at 5, able to add 1 from the under 13 and under 14 male baseball today. That's thanks to a win over Mount Pearl South, and Avalon picked up the bronze. We also saw the exact same podium in female soccer under 15, St. John's North over Mount Pearl South in the finals, and Avalon once again picking up the bronze. It's a crossover day tomorrow, so a lighter day on the schedule, but we do see the preliminaries pick up for the under 15 male soccer and the under 15 female ball hockey. And Corner Brook is a great place to finish off and just show what the day is like for most tomorrow. In the morning, a chance of some rain, some extra cloud. Wait a little while, the sun breaks out. You wait too long, it goes right back behind those clouds, and the chance of rain returns. All in all, just to finish off with the potential of a sunset, but a little bit cooler than days that we've had thanks to that wind off of the water. And that's it right across Newfoundland and into parts of Labrador. Extra rain on the northern peninsula tomorrow morning, into the south coast of Labrador as well. Ben, Tony Murray.